This is CNN.
Okay, so we just told you what's beginning to come out here. These 900-plus pages of documents uploaded online from this investigation into Chris Christie, the closure of this bridge. But Chris Christie and some of his top aides and former top aides are named now in this class action lawsuit. This is the first such suit filed in this scandal. Plaintiffs allege they were inconvenienced by the massive traffic jams in September that were already planned as political retribution. With us now, CNN legal analyst Sunny Hostin and trial attorney Nolan Klein. And Nolan Klein, let me just begin with you. Welcome.
Thank you.
When you consider that people can be subpoenaed and people can be deposed in civil lawsuits, could civil action here be as big a threat to Governor Chris Christie as possible criminal charges?
Well, okay, so first of all, I don't know that there's any threat to Governor Christie right now, civil or criminal, because I haven't heard or seen any evidence of any wrongdoing on his part. We just heard your legal analyst look through 900 or so emails. So far, we don't see any connection to him. But in general,
there's this class action lawsuit that's been filed.
A class action lawsuit has been filed. Anybody can file a lawsuit if they had $400 and a law degree. It doesn't mean that there's any merit to it. The fact of the matter is that a class action will be very difficult in a case like this, where you have to prove that everyone in the class suffered the same damages. Some people here, I mean, we hear some stories that perhaps ambulances were delayed. Those would, of course, be very serious cases. Some people maybe missed business meetings. Other people were just inconvenienced. Maybe their dinner got cold. And so these people would not be within the same class, and no class action could be brought on their behalf. Frankly, other than perhaps someone whose medical care was delayed and perhaps suffered physical damage as a consequence, I don't see how anybody files a lawsuit. It's an infuriating situation, whether it was Governor Christie or his subordinates, that the government would do this intentionally. But I don't know that that always translates into a meritorious lawsuit.
Okay. Let's also, though, keep in mind that Chris Christie said yesterday he was lied to by his staff about this, that he knew absolutely nothing about it. Sunny Hostin, let's talk, though, about the criminal end of this. The new U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, he is Paul Fishman. He has opened this preliminary inquiry. But I want you to listen to Alan Dershowitz. We chatted yesterday, constitutional attorney Alan Dershowitz and I asked him about this investigation out of New Jersey, if it would likely be compromised because of Governor Christie. This is what he told me.
It shouldn't be New Jersey. It should be New York, because he has a history of taking revenge. And that's why the prosecution investigation should take place in New York, where he has no power and no authority.
Reputation for revenge. Do you agree with that, Sunny Hostin?
You know, I know Professor Dershowitz, of course, and I think that New Jersey would be the appropriate office to investigate anything. But I think we need to really make it clear.
New Jersey, you're saying?
New Jersey, yes.
Not New York.
Not New York, but I think we should make it clear that this is a very preliminary investigation. In my view, looking at the facts of this case without knowing more, without discovering more, I think criminal charges are really remote. And so, you know, I don't think that's going to happen. But getting back to the civil suit, which I have a copy of, I actually think this is problematic for Governor Christie.
Why?
Yeah, I do. Because I think that when you look at this complaint in particular, Brooke, you see that some people suffered panic attacks. Many people were late to work. Many people were docked pay. And so I think there certainly could be a class certified here. I think it passes the smell test. And I think what is most problematic is it does open up the door to Governor Christie and others being deposed in a civil suit. And that does spell trouble, because what are they going to do? Are they going to plead the fifth, like we saw yesterday before the New Jersey Assembly? Right. And so, you know, to sort of suggest that this is a frivolous lawsuit, I think is
Nolan is shaking his head.
Yeah, you know, to the first point, you know, with all due respect to Professor Dershowitz, who I have great respect for, there's a difference between the state authorities and the federal authorities. Right now, the U.S. Attorney is doing an investigation. Any charges to be brought would be brought in federal court, where the state authorities, in particular the governor, don't have authority. And so that's really the reason why I believe it was referred to the federal authorities. As far as the civil suit, a civil suit doesn't have to pass the smell test. It has to comply with the elements of a class action. One of which is commonality. And we just heard Sunny say that some people had panic attacks, and some people were stressed out, and some people this, and some people that.
Some people
I don't doubt that all that's true. that's fine. And there may be a class of people who are doc pay, or maybe people individually can bring those suits because their damages would be different. People are paid differently. But to lump all of these people together plainly doesn't comply with the typicality component of any class action lawsuit.
Okay, Sunny Hostin, Nolan Klein, I hear you disagreeing. We have to see where it plays and how it plays out civilly and possibly, not yet, possibly criminally. Thanks to both of you very much. Coming up, have you heard?